Hey there. This is a parody flyer that I made to advertise one of my shows. I play music professionally in Houston, Texas, and I always try to add some humor to my flyers, and it gets people talking. So I like to make this is my face instead of Tom Cruise. So it's a little parody flyer that I did for Mission Impossible, and I'm going to show you a quick walkthrough on how to do it, and maybe you can start adding some humor into whatever it is that you're designing. So I go to the Canva home screen. I'm using Canva Pro, and I like to use presentation because it gives you a little bit more room to work within, and you can always resize it later. But if you do know that you're going to be posting to a specific platform like Instagram, then you definitely want to go to that home screen and go to social media and then build it in Instagram, whatever you're going to be designing. Or if you're going to make a YouTube thumbnail, click that because that will give you the exact parameters to work within. So whenever you download it, it's going to be perfect. But let's go back to what we're designing here. This is going to be Mission Impossible, but we're going to change it to my name, Peter, Petey Impossible. So go to that blank screen. We're going to rename it here, Petey Impossible. Wait, what? Possible? How do you spell that? Okay. Now it'll be easier to find that tab up top. So we need to find a Mission Impossible movie poster. And I always try to find one that's got the least amount of words in it, so that way we don't have to remove everything. Like, here's the image we want, but it's got some extra stuff in there that we don't need. And even though Canva's got some great tools to help remove that, it's best if you can find that image here that's got 0 words in it. So you don't need to save it. You just need to copy and paste it into Canva. Paste. Well, sometimes it does that. Let's try to paste it again. Okay, there we go. And once you add an image to Canva, it gets saved into your uploads here. So if you do something to this image and delete it on accident, just go back there and you can just click on it again. So now that we have our main image, there's nothing that we really need to remove from here. So all we need to do is start adding our own graphics. So I want to add the text. Go to text and just pick one of these. They're just different sizes, and over here is where you can change the font. It's going to be Canva Sans automatically, but I like to use Leak Spartan. And just to give us a reference point, I'm going to get that original flyer so we can have a look at it while we're building it again. This is basically like a rebuild, but just walking you through the steps. Walking. So I need to put the venue name, the social, and with Canva, I'm assuming you already know a little bit of how to use it. You can use these tabs in the middle and sides to crop an image. And if you want to resize an image, just grab it from the corner, any of the corners. And I like to have everything nicely cropped. All right, so there is the name of the venue. And if you want to add the exact same font underneath, you can just hit duplicate. And it's Pub and Grill. And I made that a little bit smaller. And a little bit lower. It doesn't have to be perfect. One helpful tool is, I'm sure all of us are using a mouse, of course, but if you want to make some really precise adjustments, click on whatever it is that you want to move and just use the arrows on your keyboard, and that'll really make your life a lot easier to fine-tune a graphic. Okay, so we have that there. We need to put a black box around everything. So here's a step that you need to have down is grouping, so we can move the image and everything together. Click outside of the image and then make sure to drag the cursor over everything that you want grouped together. And then go up here to group. And now you can move everything around without having to keep repositioning your text. So let's make this smaller. You can change the size if everything's grouped together easily. And we want to add a black square around that. And make sure you find the square that's got the tabs in the middle. That'll make it really easy to crop. So Canva is set up in layers, and right now this square is layered to the top. So we want to first of all change the color here to black. And if you're not sure of where to find the exact color to match what you need, you can use this feature and just put the eyedropper over anything in the image, and that'll change it to that color. But we want it black, so go back to undo, and now we're black. That came out weird. And now we need to put this square behind the image. So left click, and it'll pull up a different menu, layer, and send backward. Or send back. Either one is going to work right now. Send back. Drag it outside. And then we need a little bit of room down there for the rest of the graphics. Boom. Now let's group all of that together. Group. And now let's add our name and time underneath. So go back to text, and we're going to change this from Canva Sans to I think something that's going to closely match the Mission Impossible movie font is going to be Anton. So let's just use Anton. It's sort of taller, thinner letters, and this is going to say, my name, it's Scafidi Live. And underneath is going to have the time, but we're going to do that separately. So let's move it up there where we have to change the color to white. Change to white. And it's nice and snug under there. And let's duplicate that. And that's where we add our time, 7:30 p.m. until the tequila runs out. Oh! All right, now we're going to make that smaller. And we can tighten this up at the bottom. And you can go ahead and group that together so everything is going to be nice and tight together. Group. And the Mission Impossible has the black line that runs through, so let's add another box, another square. Change the color to black. And just drag it down to make a really thin line. You can also go to Elements and find a line if you want. Elements, just type in line. But for what we for what we need, and you have all these different options. It's just much easier just to grab it there. So I'm going to take that, put it over, and it matches as closely as possible. Doesn't need to be perfect. And then let's see how that looks. Okay, it looks looking pretty good. Click on that and duplicate. And just drag that down to hit the 7:30, make that look good. All right, now we got that just about matching. We need to do the logo up top. So let's get yet one more square. Change the color to black. And we're going to make a rectangle. Let's give ourselves a little bit of room. And now we're going to need another text. Let's change that to white. And we're going to drag it down here. This is just going to, obviously, if you're just seeing this as a design example, maybe you're just relaxing, having a glass of wine. If you're going to make it your own, obviously change the name. If your name is Jack, you know, Jackie Impossible, I don't know, whatever. Just have fun with it. Do anything that's going to get people talking. Everyone else is just making their flyers for advertising, especially musicians. It's a little bit dull. So add a little bit of humor and get people talking about it. Why not? And it looks like we need, actually, we need to change the color to match that red. So click on there, go up to color. Oh, we didn't get the right font. You guys didn't say anything. Change it to Leak Spartan. Oh, no, we're going to change it to Anton. All right, that's better. And now we change the color. And if that's not perfect, let's go up to that eyedropper. And let's just go over here to the red, and that'll match it. So let's duplicate that, and then we can write the impossible. Let's just drag that over. The Impossible has a little bit of a different graphic on there. I used one of the free online font generators, but I'm not going to go through all that here. But if you want to add a little bit of white edge around there, you can go to Effects and then add an outline. I'm not going to go through all the different options, but just kind of demonstrate as we need it. So that's going to give it an outline. And we want to make it white and really thin, just to add a little, just a like barely noticeable touch. See, that looks good to me. All right, but let's make it a little bit smaller. Now let's tighten that up. And we can group all of this together so we can move it around. Group. You need to group it. If you need to change anything in there, you have to ungroup first. Ungroup, then you can start doing some other editing. But once it's grouped, it is locked in, baby. Now we can take this, add it to our poster. And now we have the fun part. We can make ourselves the star instead of this handsome Tom Cruise getting all of the attention. We can put our own face. So I've taken time to take different reaction shots of myself, and believe me, I felt completely stupid doing it, but I do that with all of my flyers to add my face. So I'm just going to go find the kind of face. You can see all these different ones. I have friends that have sent me their face, their pics, so I can make flyers for them. I did one for Lenny and Squiggy. Instead of the Beatles, I did the Beatles. Punky Brewster. Just ridiculous stuff. Leave It to Peter. That was another fun one. And that's my face there. Anything to get people talking. So let's use this image of my handsome bald face. And we need to do background remover. Go ahead and crop it really tightly. And we need to aim my face to the left to match Tom Cruise. So go over to flip and drag the edges to make it smaller. And the last thing we need to do is add a headset. And you can go to elements, put in headset mic, It'll pull up a ton of options. I've already searched for one recently, so I'm just going to use this one, I believe. And we don't need this left part of it because of the angle of my face. We only need the right side. So we're going to make this smaller. Make it smaller. Whoa, that didn't work. Hold on. All right, let's move it over. And doesn't have to be perfect. Just put on there what you need. It'll look good once it's on the flyer. And then use the edge, the middle part here, to crop out that left area. Perfect. Group that together. And go back to your poster and go to edit. We want to use the erase feature. This is their Magic Studio. This is wonderful. All of these tools come in handy. What we're going to look for is Magic Erase. And this allows you to completely remove items from a picture in a nice clean way. And let's say we wanted to remove all of Tom Cruise, then hit click and it'll show you what options are available to click and remove. So we could click him. Obviously we don't want to do that, but we just want to remove his head. So it'll click on brush. We'll click on brush and then just edit right around there. And we can remove this. That's kind of distracting. So erase. Booyah! And if it doesn't do a really clean erase, you can just click on that area again. It should tidy that up nicely. Very nicely, sir. Now we have our grouped head. I like to exaggerate things in my flyers. So instead of putting my heads towards the kind of more natural looking size, I always make it, I mean, not like crazy, although that is kind of funny, but I like to find a little middle ground that looks not quite natural, but not quite too cartoonish. And that really brings it home. So now we group all of this, click outside of it. Now we have a finished flyer. And let's get rid of this poster. Actually, one thing I noticed here is this is a little bit darker. Let's go ahead and change the color. Click on the poster, go to edit, and we want to adjust. You have different filters here that you can use that are great, but I just want to make it a little bit darker. So I'm going to adjust and just lower the brightness of the picture. And that will make my face pop a little bit more. Not too dark, but right around there. You can still see everything. Just a little pinch. Now let's delete the old image because now we got a new one and we want to do a clean download. So go ahead and widen the image. And if you look at the bottom right corner, you can see the width and height is 1303, 1080. But if you aren't sure what the total width is, because remember, it's all grouped, so this is the total dimensions that we need. Go to position, and that'll show you 1302, 1080. Don't worry about the decimal point, anything after that. So now that we have the exact size, we want to download this. But if let's say you download it now, it's going to also download all of this white area to the right of it that we don't want. We just want a tight, clean download. So go back to position 1302, 1080. Resize, custom size, and just type in 1302. 1080 is already there. If you hit copy and resize, it'll open it in another window. If you resize this design, it'll just resize it right here. So I'm just going to show you the copy and resize. And it says open. Yes, let's open it, please. PD Impossible, it's got the dimensions. Now we just push it up to the corner. Drag it there. And all we have to do now is download it. So go to share, download, and you don't need to worry about changing the size here or any of these other things. It's going to be saved. Sometimes it'll pop up, it recommends a PDF, but go ahead and click, since it's a still image without any, you know, if we were doing a video, you would click MP4. JPEG is a lower quality, so we don't want that. We want the best quality for posting on social media. So just hit PNG, download, and then you've got your finished poster. So I'm going to be doing some more of these where I show some of the other funny flyers that I make. But if you have any questions or even some suggestions for other funny ideas, please let me know, and thanks for watching.